All right. So, as we're starting to join in today, once again, we're going to be diving into the topic of becoming a strong decision maker. So let's. I'm going to also going to stick around. So I'm going to give a little bit of a personal share to concretize this, and just talk about what we're doing in my family. You guys may have seen my post about our family school, our homeschool that we're diving into for the first time ever this year. After many of my clients know this about me, after I proclaimed time and time again in the years past, I should be homeschooling my kids. My kids need to be taught by me at home, and I just can't. Period. End of sentence. That was the end of my story. And you know what? Never say never. Never say never, because the universe reorganized for me based on my desires, my wholehearted desires for my kids to thrive, for my family to thrive in miraculous ways. And I'm going to share with you how that happened and where we are now. So, uh, all right. Let's first just name what's going on when we feel like we're not confident in our decisions, our decision making, when we doubt ourselves. So first, I'm going to talk about how it shows up, and then tell me kind of where you are on the spectrum, and just you can just drop that in the comments when I ask. But we're starting with sort of often when I connect with women, people book a clarity call with me. We're talking about what's going on, what's not working for you, and one of the big things that often comes up that we uncover is I just do not feel great about how family is working, and I worry and feel guilty that it's me, it's my fault. Like I'm not making decisions I feel great about and I'm not confident in them, or I'm deferring the decision making to a partner, a husband, or wife, to a partner who maybe I think doesn't see all of the whole situation, like isn't taking action for the best of the kids or for the best of the family. And so, but I don't know how to overcome that problem on my own. I don't want to fight about it, and I don't know of a peaceful way to create the kind of life for my family right now that I want. So I just feel overwhelmed, I feel lost, I feel whatever. So when we hesitate, when we sort of defer to someone else to make a decision, when we doubt ourselves, we doubt our knowing, we doubt our instinct and our intuition, our greatest gift. Sometimes we doubt that we really do know what we think we know, right? These are all, or it's also, it could show up as waffling. Should I do that? I don't know. It's uncertainty. Well, if things might change and then I've made the wrong decision, or if school goes back and then it doesn't, and then this decision that I've made falls apart, then I don't know what to do, and then everything will fall apart, and then everything will be too scary, right? So we're scared. We're scared. We're in doubt. We're not sure about what we're deciding, and it brings up a lot of fear. Also, sometimes the fear of making the decision will mean that we'd rather wait and do nothing. So inaction. So not moving toward what we want, otherwise known as stuck, right? Frozen or paralyzed even. Here are three big things that I see in women that are kind of like disablers. They disable us and keep us from standing strong in what we know and taking action on that. One is we're afraid we're going to upset someone. This is number one on the top of my list because it comes up the most in people I'm connecting with. So give a shout out in the comments. Does this come up for you? Are you afraid of upsetting someone? Do you consider someone else in a worrying way in your thoughts before you make a decision or take a step of action? And it may cause you to spiral, wait, change your path. It's an influencer, and it's someone else's anxiety, fear, dominant personality, any of those things. So maybe we're afraid of upsetting our kids. We know a decision is right for us, but we know they're not going to like it. That gets in our way. It slows us down. So give a shout out if that one ever comes up for you. Are you afraid of upsetting people, making them mad, creating conflict, creating tension? Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. Any of those things. That's number one. The second topper on my list of top three is we don't want to fail. We don't want to make a mistake, right? We're so concerned with getting it right or having it look good that we avoid the subject altogether, or it kind of can paralyze us almost. Like, I'm so afraid of failing that I'm just going to avoid that topic altogether. And some of us are avoiders by nature. We eat to soothe, we maybe drink to check out, we scroll to avoid. What else do we do? What else are you guys doing to avoid? Sometimes there are healthy avoidance coping skills like exercise, obsessive exercise, fixating on things. Okay, so you get the point. So drop in the chat if this is happening for you. Yes, no, maybe. And the avoidance is also like, I'm just going to stay safe. But often that's what our mind tells us, our lower mind. But the mind is like not clued in to the whole picture. And so staying safe often means hiding out and staying depressed, overwhelmed, and anxious. Okay, I'm just giving you straight talk today. This is how it plays out for people. The top three, the third one of the top three is we hesitate on decisions or doubt ourselves because we don't want to be judged by other people. This is a huge one in motherhood. Oh my goodness. How many of you have ever, like, social media is like really, really a huge source of temptation if this is in your blood, to compare how are you doing, what are other, to worry when you don't want to share something, because if you do, maybe other people will think something about you that's scary or unsafe or negative or judgy. And you also notice maybe you're judging others, that you feel judgy toward others, even critical, or how did they have all that? Or you write it off like someone's happy or looks happy, and maybe you feel jealous, or maybe you feel that you don't want them to know what's really going on with you because you feel ashamed. You feel like your family's falling apart at the seams and it's all your fault. Right? These are huge things that come up for mothers. And, most of them are just a whole crock of BS. There's not a whole lot of truth in this, but I don't want to invalidate your experience. Like, we really feel these things, and they really are stopping us from taking new action. And they really are getting in the way of us being confident, empowered, strong decision makers in our marriages and for our children. And that is not cool. So we want to see the problem so we can make a decision about whether or not we're going to change it, right? So those were the top three things. Now, if you felt any of those things, drop it in the chat. And what happens when we live in that neighborhood of the doubt, of the waffling, fear of others judging us or thinking bad things about us, or even gossiping about us. Sometimes family, I'll talk to a lot of women who family of origin, like their mother and their sibling mother will talk to their sister or their brother. And it's like there's even a family gossip chain where they know they're going to be judged if they take a stand for what they believe, and it's different from family of origin beliefs, right? That's a part of growth. That is a part of growth. So these things cause a spiral. And if you've seen my masterclass, you've seen my wheel of overwhelm. I can't remember what I titled it, but basically it's a wheel of overwhelm. Like, here's the vicious cycle that we get caught in as moms. We could say the same thing about not being confident, about not being able to stand for our truth and our decisions and stand by our decisions and own them, to say, you may be upset, but hey, this is what's best for the family, right? And so we get in a spiral of doubt, a spiral of fear. We get into constriction in the body. We start to have stomach aches. The heart palpitations get going. The body is engaged. It's in fight or flight. So it can't call the shots in a clear way, because it's been hijacked by fear. It's been hijacked by doubt. It's been hijacked by it's old stuff, you guys. It's old family energy, but we're just going to call it fear and doubt and hesitancy for now. So that spiral means you wake up sometimes in the middle of the night in a panic, or you get up and you feel a negative drop really soon after waking up, or you might even wake up with dread. You might even wake up really not wanting to connect with yourself, your family, your people. Often I talk to women who say, like, the only time I feel good is just that few minutes when I pray or set my intention for the day, and then plonk, like the baseline, the habit the body's in is in the toilet, And so you can't pull yourself out of that. But let's just look at like what that spiral is. So it creates exhaustion. It often creates conflict in the marriage. It creates a whole heap of self doubt. If there's any wobble in your belief in yourself, it's going to rock that into pieces. We kind of are detached from our sense of even who we are. We're detached from our sense of self and from what we're here to do and say and be. Okay. So a lot of women come to me, they're feeling very lost. They're ready for a new awakening into who they are. And they need the God, they need the map because they've been trying on their own, and it's very frustrating to continue to head down that spiral deeper and deeper when you are already feeling alone. And so what's at the bottom of the spiral is usually such depletion or frustration or anger. There's yucky stuff down at the bottom of the pit, like blame, like just wanting someone else to handle it, to change it, wanting Mother Earth to just stop raging, wanting the fires to be out, wanting for this, for Mother Nature to stop creating viruses for the higher purpose, wanting for all the fears to just go the F away, wanting for the partner to just fix it. Just fix whatever it is. It's not working and you're the problem. And looking at your kids and thinking, you all just need to be quiet so I can relax, right? How many of us have ever said that? Like, be honest. Have you found yourself in a moment of thinking, just everyone shut up so that I can calm down, so I can think, so I can try to save us? I've definitely been in those moments, or I wouldn't know to talk about them here. The moments of like, oh my God, just stop. Just make it stop. Make the craziness stop. And this is definitely the craziest time in my lifetime. This is definitely the craziest time since I've been alive and a mom. And the pressure right now that so many mothers are feeling to make amazing decisions for their family is kind of flip-flopping with this belief that I can't. There are no good decisions I can make. There's no way that I can help us right now because every option sucks. They all kind of suck. We're looking through the lens of life sucks and there's just no good options. And so I want to be rescued. I'm going to blame other people for the problem. Or I'm just going to beat myself up. Every spare minute I have, I'm going to beat myself up and think, well, there's no option for a positive change. So I might as well just blame me. And I'm totally a loser. I'm totally failing. And my poor kids. And I mean, I'm hearing these words from moms every week on the phone. I know it's real. I know that women here are feeling it. Take a deep breath just with me now. Like, put your hand over your heart because it's opening big stuff and I can feel it for you. But just put your hand over your heart and just breathe in, close your eyes, and anchor your energy down beneath you into the earth. And then come back to the moment. We're creating something new and amazing and beautiful. The women who choose to stop beating themselves up and stop settling for this state of chaos in their lives are stepping into a small circle, which I'm calling a revolution, of mothers who are saying no more to the disempowered blame and victimhood, and no more to feeling like I have no choices available to me. That is something that we can change because our life is a reflection of what we feel and believe inside. And I teach way in depth on that in my program. But just to say that piece of like, you're more powerful than you know. You're more powerful than you know. There was a time 5 years ago when, as a mom, I saw almost no options available to me. I did not know and understand that the creativity was coming from me in connection and partnership with God, with my source, with the universe. All of that change comes from within us. When we stay asleep to that, when we stay a victim to chaos and struggle, that is when we just wish everyone else would stop. We wish everyone else would change. We wish other people would fix it for us. Is it resonating for you guys? Let me know. I really want to make this digestible. Oh, good. I see your comments now. And I know this is deep too. So we feel like it's unfair. We feel like a happy family life right now or safety are impossibilities. And I just don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I think we can all create safety, security, abundance, and choice for our families. I think we can all create stability, and we can create routines that are successful, and we can create healthy partnerships and foster healthy communication. I think we can create a family where kids respect us, cooperate with us, where we are the authority, the loving, nurturing, fierce, respected authority. That is all possible for you as much as it is for me. And so the bottom of the spiral, of course, we're not getting what we want. You know, kids are picking up on that. They know we're stressed, they're stressed. They're scared. And if mom's not okay, they're not feeling okay. Who's in charge? You know, they're looking to us. Maybe there's another partner in the mix, another mom or dad or a grandma, but they're still looking at you. They're looking at you. They want to know, what do we do here? Who's in charge? And they don't care about all of the things that are going on outside of your family in your house, especially 8 and under. There's just nothing on their radar about world events or about global pandemics or about whatever. They just know what you show them, what you tell them. That's the reality. We are such powerful, powerful creators. You are so powerful. Whatever you show them, whatever you are around them is what they know. It's not what you say to them, and it's not what you think you're teaching them by talking to them. It's what you're living. It's the energy you're feeling and what you're breathing and what you're focusing on. That's what they're learning from, okay? I know that's hard news, sometimes bad news, but good news, because then we can take ownership of it and be like, oh my God, I'm a hot mess. I'm so negative. I'm ranting, I'm yelling, I'm boiling over, I'm accusing my partner, I'm alienating him. The respect is going in the toilet. Like, that's in my power and control. I can get control of me. I can get the help I need and change that, right? So to be a great decision maker requires 3 things. You ready for them? Tell me if you're ready. They're quick and simple. To be a confident, strong, happy, balanced decision maker requires 3 things. This is work I'm doing with my clients all the time. Number 1, you have to be clear on what you want and what you need. And that's the $1 million point right there. That's the $1 million point, you guys. That's the thing you can't just buy at the store and just crack open the can of. It is a process you cannot have unless you're willing to commit to going there to do the work. We're talking about growing a deep, connected relationship with you, heart, mind, soul, or body. All of it in alignment. All of it in alignment. So that you know and it's flowing to you all day long what you want and what you need. You're not in a tangle of what's anyone going to think about this. Oh my God, you're judging yourself. Is this a good thing to want or need? Oh no, it's too much. Oh, I can't have that. Who am I to ask for more? All those thoughts and feelings are the doubt and the waffling and the hesitation that keep you from making empowered decisions that lead your family and enable them to thrive. The ones that enable your family to thrive don't come from a pro-con list. They don't come from deep discussions and conversations with your mother or your partner or your friend. They don't come from a bottle of wine. Like, that's not the kind of insight I'm talking about. Clear on what you want and what you need means I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I need. I have a vision for that. I'm actively creating it. I'm co-creating it with the universe. And I give myself permission to want that. And not only to want it, but to move on to the next step, which is I know how to interpret what I want and need. I know what it means to me. I know how to interpret that. I'm not going to sit and spin out, freaking out about what I realized I want or what I need. I'm not going to argue with it. I'm going to receive that information, that communication from the divine. So in my world, that's communication from the divine or from your soul, from your higher self. That's the only information that I need to pay attention to ever. That's high quality information. It's packed with goodness for you and your family. And so when you know how to tap into that, how to access it, and how to interpret that, then you're on your way to the third step. The third step, are you ready? Is that you are able to take action on that guidance or that information with clarity. So from a place of clarity. And you know what that doesn't look like? A 10-point play-by-play plan that it took you weeks of overthinking to come up with. That comes from a place of such limited mind, just such limitation. If I think right now about this next year and how I'm going to get to the end of the school year, and I better make my plan, and I'm making it from a place of doubting myself, worrying, uncertainty, reacting to fear in the world, that plan's going to be pretty shite. It's not going to help my family thrive. You know what I mean? I got to be connected with something bigger, something infinite. I want to be connected with my joy when I make that plan. And I see people all the time getting caught up in details, getting caught up in doubt, getting caught up in the what ifs, in that spiral of trying to make a 10-point contingency plan for what if things happen this way, then that way, rather than what's at the core of what enables us to be the best decision makers that we can be, which is trusting ourselves. So I want you to drop in the chat where you fall on like trusting yourself. Let's do 1 to 5. 5 is I solidly trust myself. It's not perfect, but I mostly can tune in, can know what I need, know what I want, and find the action to take. 1 is I don't even know what you're talking about. What is this that you're talking about? What is this crazy lady saying? That's okay. 1 is that. And anywhere in between. So drop in the chat now, 1 to 5. 5, really pretty confident, feeling good. 4, I'm almost there. And don't be shy. Don't be shy. I want to know where you guys are. Okay. So thinking, analyzing, pro-con list, discussing. These are all things that if they worked, you'd already know. You'd be breezing through life. Things would be getting better every day. Better and better every day, right? Like your kids would be thriving more and more. You'd be having more of what you want. You'd be feeling really happy about where you are. If problem solving and overthinking and vacillating and second guessing and questioning, all these things I used to do a lot, worked, your life would be what you want it to be. You'd be where you were. You would not be in overwhelm, and you would not be toying with anxiety. You wouldn't be tolerating it. Okay. And so that's important to know because it's puts the power back in your hands. And so when I manifest big change, like some big change that I've manifested in my life this year, and I look back on how did I do that without fail every time, it's a beautiful recipe. It's a mix of trusting myself and of surrendering a whole lot of the details and the needing to know so I can micromanage it and control it, right? We have to know what to hook into so that it's safe to surrender. Otherwise, if you're untethered, if you're ungrounded, then don't take that piece that I'm saying and be like, I got to surrender. I got to just go off into orbit. Like that isn't going to help anyone either. No wonder you're hanging on and gripping on and trying to control if you do feel ungrounded because you're just grasping for security. It makes perfect sense. Psychologically, it makes perfect sense. Energetically, it makes perfect sense. But it isn't the solution to ending overwhelm. It isn't the solution to being confident and leading our families. So, all right. This is the trust piece, the trusting me piece, the trusting that I know what I'm doing. I know what I know is the probably biggest key element in my work with mothers right now. And in Awakened Motherhood, the big nuts that women are cracking that are completely transforming how they show up for themselves and their families are around this piece of I know how to connect in with me. I know how to stay connected with me so I can read what I want and what I need. And I'm staying fueled. I'm staying energized. So from that place, I know what to tell my kids. My kids tantruming, I know how to respond. It doesn't affect me. Like, I'm good. We get into the 45 hour sometimes 45-minute mark of the tantrum. I was going to say hour mark of the tantrum. Feels like it. um, then I can teeter, I can wobble, but there's a constancy to staying grounded and connected. And we can achieve that. We can all achieve that. And the mothers who I'm helping eliminate overwhelm right now and for the last few years are making that evolution from I am finding the source of what I need outside of me. I'm looking outside of me for everything I need to. I'm looking inside of me. Inside of me is the kingdom of everything I need to know. And we're not cut off. We're not cut off from the divine. We're an extension. We're oneness is a real thing, and we're connected to all other living beings. So many of you in this group are probably sensitive and empaths, like many of my clients are, and you're feeling a lot of what's trickling in from outside. So how are you going to protect yourself, right? How are you going to know what's yours and what's not yours? It is a huge topic and a huge area of growth for women right now. When we trust ourselves, we are automatically confident decision makers. This is a skill set we can learn. Self-trust is a skill we can learn, we can nurture, we can grow with help and support. And I also want to just say for the record, I would never expect, I'm not, when I offer teaching and a training, it's to raise your consciousness around where you might not be plugging in the ways you want to be, and to offer you something to grow a new intention or to make a new decision. I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. I don't have to. I can hear Honors saying that it really can be another way, and I want to know if that's possible for me. And if that's what comes for you, then reach out to me. If you're serious, if you really don't want to spin in overwhelm anymore, and you really don't want to spin in anxiety anymore, and you're sick of trying to figure it out alone, if you finally clued into it's not going to work, it's not going to work to fill it out alone, nobody grows alone, then reach out to me and I'll be very honest with you about whether I can help you or not. I'm not going to indulge any ideas of you coming to work with me if we don't know that we can get you the results. Okay. So, and there are a couple of requirements, and I'll let you know what those are, but you've really got to be ready to commit to you in a bigger way than you ever have before if you're going to move out of anxiety and overwhelm, because these things are deeply woven through our nervous system and the cells of our being and the tissues of our bodies. And we have to be willing to say, I'm not going to struggle like that anymore. I'm going to get clear with me. I'm going to get right with me, get on solid ground, and then the family can thrive. Then the relationship can heal. And there are many, many miraculous examples and stories of that. And my clients can share those with you in this group and share their successes and post what's working for them so you guys can hear it. Watch some interviews if you're wondering what is this process of trusting yourself that I'm talking about. So just to bring it all to close, my family, you saw my post, my family is launching our first ever family school experience. And honestly, my clients have messaged me and teased me about remembering the moment when I said, I could never, my kids need to be homeschooled, but I just can't. That word is so, is so bad. What I found, which was really fun, is just a little bit of fun, sort of spiritual awakening piece for me that I'll share with you, is that when I began opening my heart to what I really, really wanted. So for a long time, I was scared to realize what I wanted and what was the size of the business that I wanted to call in. And it would have required me shifting a lot of beliefs. From that time, I felt there was no support for me. I just couldn't see it. The evidence wasn't here that I could rearrange my life in order to do this more and take on more clients and expand to serve 1,000 women. I just thought, like, I can't see how that can happen. But the vision was very clear. And I knew that I wanted to serve. I was just so scared in so many ways, like we are when we want to make a big life change. And I had these two kids who like really, 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 really needed me in many ways for their health, for their social development. All kids need their moms, and I also there were some extra needs happening for us that I felt very, very compelled to meet. And I just knew it was a part of my purpose and my awakening to pay attention to those and to learn from them and to become who my kids needed me to be. And if you have a spirited child or a child with extra needs or a kiddo with health challenges or some kind of like they don't quite fit any particular diagnosis, but you just know that it's really hard for you as a mom, then then that little bit is for you. There's that calling that says, I'm gonna, and maybe we fight it or avoid it, but my children are inviting me to become the mother that they need, right? When it's not going well, that's what's happening. I need to become the mother that they need. And maybe I don't want to. I just want it to be easy. So I'm going to ignore it for a while. And a while is okay. And then a little longer than a while because at some point it becomes not okay for everyone. And then you get scared because you're like, holy shit, shit's hitting the fan. And my marriage is falling apart. And it's all because I don't know. I've lost the plot. I don't know how to bring this family back into any kind of context that works. And I know lots of families who've been there. And again, there's no point that's too far to come back and change. So I was there in the doubt and in the hesitancy for a while, and then changed my career path. Even though I couldn't see how it was going to make sense, I took some action steps that felt right for me at the time, though scary. And then I just kept taking steps that felt scary, and eventually, I got myself here. And eventually, I I started my own online program, and eventually now, founder and CEO of my company and building a team and just really recognizing that there are so many more women who need this new kind of paradigm in motherhood, that the old one isn't working, and it's not working for marriage either. There's so much inequality, so much oppression, so much conflict and power struggle, and it isn't serving our kids. It isn't bringing us into our best self. And so I'm leading mothers in doing that work. So I'm doing the work myself, and it goes without saying. I'm walking the talk, and where that led last year was through a lot of tuning in and a lot of soul searching, getting very clear that it was time for my family to move outside of California. And it was time for us to choose a place that was going to feel like we could make it a home for a long term. And we didn't exactly know where that was, but anyways, we're in Idaho now. You probably, if you've been in the group for a little bit, you've heard my my move announcements. But we settled in near the mountains, which I've wanted to do for a long time. Coming back to a place my husband and I both know and love, and feeling really, really settled about it. Again, like there were no guarantees that this was going to work. This was totally me accessing my needs and my desires, and then being really open and forthright with my husband about it. And we had a lot of heart to hearts about what we were scared about and about what we both wanted and what was going to work for both of us, and maybe what wasn't going to work for both of us or for either of us, and then what was best for the family as a whole. And so this talk is about being a confident decision maker. And I didn't get here where I am at the forefront of this movement for moms, at the helm of my business, at this new home and space in a new state by defaulting to my husband. You guys can probably guess that. I didn't get here by bowing to his fear about this move. I did not get here by relinquishing to anyone else's anxiety. Granted, that meant I had to navigate all of my own stuff. I did, but I know how to do that, and I'm good at that. And I also know how to give him space to do his stuff. What he's doing, I'm not really sure what he's doing with it, but that is not my business. That's his business, right? It's a boundary. And so when we tuned in last spring during virtual school and saw what happened to my children when they were on a screen all day, my highly sensitive children, and then I listened to what my heart had to say about that. And I say this with love and with tenderness and with compassion and with um, a little bit of hesitancy. I love you all so much. I know many of your kids are hurting right now, and I know many of you are pissed off at how virtual school is going for your kids, the ones who are at home on a screen. If you have sensitive kids, that's times a million. I totally get it. And everyone gets to make their own decisions. And this isn't to talk about what I think you should decide. This is to talk about what I knew. This is to talk about me knowing what was right for me and my kids. And I let myself know it. You know, it was hard to let myself know it at first, which was they can't do that. They can't do that. So I gave myself tons of permission to wait till midsummer and then get clear, which I already kind of knew what I was going to do, but I did get clear, and homeschooling rose to the top of the pile. And then once I was like, yeah, I just know it's gonna work, I got to decide how it was going to go, not how we were going to implement the plan, but how the plan was going to go. Meaning, it was going to be easy, interesting, fun, relaxing, and awesome. And it is. And I got buy-in from my kids. I got buy-in from my husband. Miracle of all miracles. Life reorganized, the universe reorganized. He is our homeschooling teacher and principal, and I am the director and language arts teacher. And we have co-created something that feels just right for us. That, granted, wouldn't be right this way for any other family specifically, but it is exactly what we want. It's what we need. It's not perfect, but it's so fun, and it is fulfilling the expectation. And guess what? It's only that way because I decided it was going to be that way. And I'm not talking about through controlling or manipulation. I just feel it. It is that way. All right. This is a huge teaching that if you want more, reach out to me and ask me, what is this that you're teaching? And what we'll do is find out if I can help you, first of all, which means you got to be willing to share where you are. You can't hold that back. You can't sugarcoat it, and you can't minimize it. If you're going to reach out for a clarity call, be ready to let me know what the real deal is. Okay. Because people who aren't ready to open up, who reach out to me and say, hey, what's it like to work with you, and what's the program all about, and where's the syllabus, and how much is it? And I'm just going to say, like, no, you got to share with me what's happening so that I can know if I can help you to eliminate overwhelm. Once we get clear on that and we know that, then if it's worthwhile and you're interested, then I can explain to you how we do it. Okay. And it's really like, if you're serious, if you're at that place where I don't want to put up with the crap anymore, life is chaos and I'm done with that, that's the time to reach out and book a call. Okay. Or you can message me and see if it makes sense to book a call if you're not sure about that piece. All right, you guys, I love you so much.